7 and 8 position game, and afterwards it'll be for 5 and 6. And that match coming up in an hour's time, and that will be between Real Madrid and Spartak Moscow. They faced each other in the group as well. Real Madrid ran out 3-2 winners in that match, if you remember, and that was a fantastic game. It could have gone either way, so expecting a very good one this afternoon. Now we'll discuss Altinodu's victory in just a little while in the company of Nick Summerby and Chris Megan, but now for something a little different. Here it is, the Alkass International Cup. This is the trophy that all teams are playing for. That's why they're here. And the two teams contesting the 8th edition, the 2019 final, are Rangers and AS Roma. Now this is probably not a TV first, but I haven't seen it very often, where you get the coaches of both sides in the day before, sitting next to each other, like good friends, and we have a chat about it. Hopefully we keep it under control. And, you know, we don't break into fights and things like that. So, a warm welcome to David Mccallum and to Fabrizio Piccaretta. Lovely to see you both. No guessing on who's the coach of who, because you're here in your colours. First of all, I'll start with you. Congratulations, David, yesterday. Great win over Kashiwa Reysol. The dust has settled now, 24 hours later. How's everybody feeling?
I think today was just getting over yesterday. Obviously, there's a lot of effort put into yesterday's game. But delighted, clearly. We come over here with you want to do well, but I've always said that you're never sure of what the opposition are going to bring to you and how they challenge you. But our boys have dealt with that quite well. We're delighted to be in the final. We certainly look forward to going into the game tomorrow against Roma.
Yeah, and Fabrizio, that was a tough game for you yesterday against Aspire Academy. After 45 minutes, we thought it was plain sailing, and then the tables turned a little bit.
Yeah, it's exactly what happened, and to be fair, credit to Aspire players, because they made it difficult for us in the second half. In the first half we were totally in control, we were dominating, we create chances. My players didn't get all of these chances, and then we paid the price in the second half, and they made their comeback. And of course it was a bit scary at the end. But then I have to give credit to my players. They were so cool in the penalty shootouts. And I think in the end, I don't want to sound arrogant, but the best team on the field went through. This is my idea.
Nothing wrong with that at all. That's the belief that you have in your team, and they'll be delighted to hear you saying that. I have to remain neutral. More from David and Fabrizio in just a second. Let's get some reaction to Altinodu's victory. Wissam is down on the touchline. Wissam?
Murad Kurkumas, for the last time from Alternado team is beside me. Murad, the 7th place you guys get, tell me, are you satisfied from what you gave in this tournament?
Yes, we are at the 7th place, but the tournament was a very good experience for our guys. We have very much young players. That's a dream here to play. Alkass Cup, International Cup, is a very good tournament. It's really professional World Cup. The media, the organization, the pitch, the facilities, everything is professional, and for our guys was very good experience.
All the best.
Thank you so much.
We'll see you next year.
Yes, inshallah.
All the best.
Thank you so much.
I have by my side as well Yusri, a Twal player. You guys got the 8th place. Tell me, you satisfied from what you gave in this tournament, and how did you find the tournament in general?
The tournament was good, but it was disappointing to get the 8th place. We wanted to get a higher place. It's good. It was a great experience to play in such pitches, such weather. It's really good. Nice country as well. And we thank you for the invitation. Hope next year we will be here.
Tell me, it was the tournament more than expected?
Yeah, for us, yeah, because we didn't expect it will be like this. It's so good.
All the best.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Rod?
Great, thank you very much, Wissam. And we're back talking about tomorrow's final. It is between Roma and Rangers. This is the trophy, and head coaches David and Fabrizio are here. Now, let's clear this up, okay? Now, Fabrizio is obviously Italian-looking kind of guy, nice complexion, but he's more Scottish than any of us think or know. But we're about to reveal all. and that's why you know each other quite well. Fabrizio, just explain to us why Scotland has been such a big part of your life.
Of course, we are not friends in the real term with in the real meaning with Dave, but we will become for sure. But I have a lot of friends in Scotland because I had the privilege to make my coaching badges in Scotland, A license and Pro license. So basically, I spent 3-4 years of my life going in Scotland many times, and as I said, I made a lot of friends there. And also I found Scottish people very, very friendly with me. I was a foreigner coming there in foreign country. I felt always like home. So this is why I'm happy that we can compete against the Rangers for this trophy, because it's nice to meet again Scottish friends. And, I'm happy with this.
You know, you say nice things, but nobody gave you a job in Scotland, did they?
No.
What's that all about?
No, I think it's fair to because it is football, you know, and I think that I don't think I'm the only guy who deserves to have a job in Scotland. I try to apply for some clubs, but of course, I don't have any harsh feeling with them.
Fabrizio, you're from Genoa. You probably thought, you looked at the temperature, you thought, well, hang on a minute, I'm not sure if I can do
If he wins
this.
tomorrow, he's no chance of getting a job in Scotland.
Well, this is the thing. I like the thing when Fabrizio went, well, we're not friends at the moment, but I'm sure tomorrow I know. No, I know. So that's. Did you actually come across each other though in the coaching system?
No, we just kind of passed each other by. I think I'd maybe it was a year or two before Fabrizio when he came in, but he's one of the colleagues at Rangers, Brian. I think he's one of the coaches with you, Brian Gilmore.
No, I met him in 2015 when I was in Scotland to do some coaching demonstration. He was there, the audience, so we met there. And then also Brian played a couple of years in Finland.
He did,
so
yeah.
We talk about my experience in Finland and his own experience in Finland. So
Common grounds.
I'm sure there are common grounds in the way that you coach and your philosophy about the game, but one difference I know straight away, and I'd just like to clear this up on why you do this. Before the Kashiwa Racehall game, Rangers said they were up till midnight, studying the other team's game, and what they had a plan for how they were going to deal with certain things, and it worked out. Whereas your approach is, I don't care about the other team. I focus about us. I don't give a stuff about the others. It's about us. So where did you get that philosophy from? And then I'll ask David then where he got his approach from.
First of all, I think this is not my philosophy. I mean, it's a club philosophy. In terms of football players' development, we think that it's part of their learning process also to learn how to read the opponents during the game. Straight away, try to understand the position tactics and try to adapt. Not having already, let's say, a clear picture of what they have to expect, which is, in my opinion, I agree with this vision in the youth development. Of course, first team is totally different because you have to give your players as many information as you can. But again, you can agree or not. I think this is another part of the coaching process with the players. Players that are capable to solve the problem themselves and together with their teammates.
I don't want to take sides, but I get that. In sport in general these days.
Sorry to interrupt you. I don't want this could sound arrogant. I mean, we care about the opponent, but it doesn't mean that we study them in details. We don't want, again, we respect the opponent. I don't want to sound disrespectful. We don't care about them.
I totally understand what you're saying.
No, but it's not.
No, I totally. No, don't worry. I'm not going to write a story now tonight and take your words out and says, Fabrizio couldn't care a damn about. No, I get it. Because tell me if I'm wrong. I think what you're trying to develop is a system where players think outside the box.
Yes.
So they're not totally drilled. In professional sport these days, in all sports, sometimes you look at teams and when things go against them, they don't know what to do because that's not the plan. And is that right? I mean, what do you think about that philosophy?
I see it from both sides. We obviously heard that line. We were up till midnight planning for the game against Cashier. We're up late, and we don't give the players everything, though. That's for our needs and our wants, and we give the players what we think relevant for them, but still leaving enough room for them to make decisions. I think that's key. I don't think we can plan everything, but if you start going down that route, you end up becoming PlayStation coaches and you're trying to control everything you do. It's not like that. We just say we give enough detail to at least share what we think the opposition are likely to do and how they play. Cashier, for example, sat back an awful lot, made the spaces very, very limited. So we had to at least explain to the players what that might look like, but still leave enough room for them to make decisions. Because ultimately, when they get to the first team, they'll have to do that. When you're playing in front of 50,000 fans at Ibrox Stadium and they can't hear the coach, they have to make those decisions themselves. So that's our thought process. And the way I look at it as well, we only do it from 17s and above, or 18s and above. We don't do it any younger than that. I think there's a couple of our guys at our squad have managed to be involved in the first team. So if at least now they're getting that little bit of taste of what that might look like, how to take on that information and use it, then I think it's a good learning tool at that stage.
A bit about yourselves. How long have you been a coach now with the Under-17 Academy?
I've been at Rangers now, ranging from 2 or 3 different roles for the last 3.5, nearly 4 years.
Right, okay. Now for you, Fabrizio, it's quite an interesting journey because you've been sort of round and about. You've been head coach. You've also been assistant with Paolo Di Canio in a few clubs, and then you're now in the sort of head coach in the youth development at Roma with Under-17. Where do you find your journey going now? Having tasted a little bit of all that, I can see the passion, in youth player development. You can see how much you enjoy that. And is that where you want to stay?
Of course, as you said, my journey in football has been quite unusual, if you know what I mean. So I started in a low league in Italy as a youth coach. Then straight away, I was working for Inter Milan in a program called Inter Campus Abroad, which means I traveled a lot the world to, let's say, coach other coaches in small clubs who had a relationship with the Inter Milan. Then during a coaching course, I met Paolo Di Canio, and straight away from, let's say, a low profile job, I found myself straight away working in probably the best environment in football nowadays, which is England, and also after two seasons, we were going to Sunderland in the Premier League. So for me, it was roller coaster. And then I always worked abroad, basically, second division in Portugal, then 2 years in Finland as head coach. And now in Italy, back in Italy. So strangely, I'm Italian, but my professional journey, career has been more abroad than in Italy. Now I'm happy to be here. Roma is a huge club, and of course I enjoy myself here. But football taught me that there is nothing to take for granted, and the future is always to write.
Yes.
So who knows?
You're right. Each day as it comes, enjoy the moment, because we only have the moment. Phew, that's a bit heavy, isn't it? For day 11 of the Alkass International Camp. Right, let's go through. Now, listen, it's all very nice, and we're having a nice chat now. When Nick, Summerby and Chris, they organised this. They put you together. And Nick's last words were to me, I want them scrapping in there. I want them fighting. So I don't know how we do, that. But what we're going to start off, I want to see the Rangers goals. The Rangers goals from yesterday in the 5-1 win over Cashier Racing. And we'll just talk through them, pick out a few players. If you don't like something, Fabrizio, you be honest about it, okay? I can tell that you can shoot from the hip when you want to. So this was your sort of playing on the front foot stuff, as Nick and Chris have been saying, anticipation. And that's how you got the goal.
Yeah, and that goal certainly settled us down a little bit, because they were difficult to break down, and we kind of thought they would take chances. And we wanted to play that way, so if they were going to do that, we'd be at least in a position to make it difficult for them.
How are you going to deal with him, Fabrizio? Nathan Coombs?
He doesn't know. He doesn't watch him.
No, I know. No.
I'm joking.
Yeah,
no, that's it. That's more like it.
No, this is exactly the point. We watch them very deeply with my staff. We don't give the information to our players. It's up to them. Yeah. But we know exactly what the Rangers are are look like. You know, they look like. Of course, the boy is a fantastic talent, and but not only him. To be fair, also the two wingers are very good on the ball, tricky, not easy to play against, and so we will cope with them like we did with the other teams, trying to make them quiet.
You have got a successful defence there, and Tomasini, I think it was, who literally took Mccallum of Spartak Moscow out of the game. I mean, we talked so much about him, and as the term you footballers use, he had him in his pocket, didn't he? We didn't see, so you've got some work in front of you, haven't you, David?
It's probably the only, if you look at the lad from Spartak, that was his quietest game, wasn't it, against Roma?
By far.
And that in itself, we know it's going to be difficult. I think both teams are very attack-minded. I think, you look at the white players from Roma and the white players from ourselves, they like to have a go at the full-backs, they like to go and make life difficult, so that in itself could lead to a very open game, and a lot of work for our defensive players at the same time. So, yeah, I think, from both points of view, I think we're very similar in how we try and play, with slight differences. But yeah, I think certainly the forward players are going to be a big challenge for both defences, I hope.
Where's the weakness in Rangers, Fabrizio? Oh, can't believe I asked that.
No, I don't. I have huge respect for every opposition and every player. So their weakness can be our
your strength.
Yeah, so to speak. Yes.
Okay, you don't reveal it, but you have a plan, don't you? We're 24 hours before the final now. Do you have a clear plan? You're the head coach. Do you have a clear plan of how to deal with them?
To be fair, I want to be clear on this. This is a development. This is not the first team. Is another step forward for their development. So we will look only about our performance. The things I always say to the players, we don't need to do more. We just need to do better what we do. So, and maybe to make less mistakes. So our approach will be exactly the same that it was against PSG the first game, against the Japanese, against all the games, and even the games that we played in the league. So our team don't change. My players don't change their approach, don't change their style. Again, it's about them, not about the opposition.
The thing is, winning's much better, isn't it? It feels much better to win. If David wins tomorrow, he'll be like, "Hey, Fabrizio, come out for a steak. Let's go and have a dinner." And you'll be like, "Well, I'm a bit tired tonight. We'll leave it there." Or if you win, you'll be like, "Hey, come and meet my friend Giuseppe down in Spaghetto. He's got a restaurant there. Fantastic." That's how it is, isn't it?
Yes.
It's all about player development. But here, then you go back to the club. Your club have just won a fixture in the Champions League. You can say, "Look, we've just won here." Development is important, but winning is important. In the end,
yes, winning is important. But what I want to say is that I don't want to win at all costs. I don't want to win changing the philosophy of this team or the club, which it is what I'm paid for. So to bring our club philosophy here. So I wouldn't do anything different to try to win the game at all costs if this means to change something in the players' idea. So they have to play the way they know. Exactly this. So simple as that.
I think both teams have got a clear way of playing. I think they've got in the philosophy you're describing just now, playing style. I think it's there. I think when you start looking at talking about winning, I think it's hard to. The players will have that. The players will want to win the game, but they want to do it in the way that they've been taught, or not taught, the way that we work together to try and make it happen. But to try and tell a player, look, the winning bit's not important, it's difficult, they want to do it, but it's our job to try and make sure that there's still a similar sort of thought process of what we normally do. But taking it a step further, being at Roma, being at Rangers in the respective leagues, etc., there is an expectation once they get to first team that winning is important, and they have to try and find a way of dealing with the challenge that they will face to do that. So if this is a stepping stone for them to do that, but we continue our job to ensure that we try and do it the right way, then I think that's important.
Yeah, it is. It's all about winning. You can imagine in the first team, you can't play a Champions League game and come in and do with a defeat, and the manager goes, "Don't worry, guys, it was taking part that was important today. Glad you enjoyed it." It doesn't work like that. Let's have a look at the Roma goals from the semi-finals. What a match this was, by the way. And in that first half, maybe the first 10 minutes was, fairly steady, and then you just went into another gear, Fabrizio. It was a joy to watch, and you got some players as well. This Zalewski, he's not bad, is he?
Yeah, he's very good.
What's his story? Where did you get him from?
He's grown in our academy, and he's from Polish parents. So he chooses at the moment he chooses Polish nationality, and he plays for Poland under 17. But he's born in Rome. He was born in Rome. A very good player, good techniques, intelligent player.
The Bamba goal was fantastic as well. Yes. But this one, you literally must have swallowed your heart when you saw that.
Absolutely, of course, because when you think that you're controlling the game and you're carrying. You're going to the final, and then of course all of a sudden you find yourself to that penalty shootout. Then anything can happen there. So it wasn't a nice moment, to be honest, because it looked like we were almost throwing away what we built so far. But the players were so good, and
I think the penalty shootout did show a great maturity as well. In the way that they approached that shootout, and they were perfect penalties. You ended up winning it 4-1 on the penalties. Am I right in saying that this group are all sort of at under 17 in their last year? So it's quite a mature under 17 side, because in this tournament we see it's quite mixed up a lot of the times. Some of the squads have got 15, 16-year-olds, but yours is pretty much on the edge there.
Yes, this is a part of the striker, Daniel Tuetofotsi, is 2003, and the second goalkeeper, 2003. Basically, this is the group of players that I used to work with since the beginning of the season. Hopefully, they will go through to the under-19s next season. Probably not all of them, because this is part of football. There is a sort of selection. But I have to be honest, this is a group of players that is a joy to work with and to watch when they play, when they're on their day is something that I said to them many times at the end of some games. I just regret to be born in 1965. I wish I was born in 2002 to play with you, because they are so good, and I like them.
Is that true? Would you have liked to play now rather than?
No, I mean to play with them.
Yeah, or play with them, that particular group. Yeah.
With this group of players, because I can see every day in training session how much they enjoy to play each other, and also this is a group that 10 of them grown up together since they were 8.
That's special as well, isn't it? It doesn't happen that often these days. You've got sort of a bit more of a mixed bag, haven't you, really?
Yeah, I think as you explained before, our programme back in Scotland is a little bit different now. We used to be under 17s as a kind of group, but now it's split to under 16s and 18s. So yeah, we've got some of the group from under 17s and some from 16s coming together to make the group, which I think is great, because what we try and find out is can these lads who are a little bit younger be challenged and go and try and find themselves into the older group and play a part and be a prominent part. I look at Leon Thompson, who's currently under 15s just now, playing there. We've also got Aaron Lyle, who's come on to the tournament after the second game and played quite a prominent part for us on the right-hand side. So our younger ones have actually stepped up and dealt with the challenge very well. Matthew Henderson, another one at left back. So yeah, it's been a mixed group, but I think they've came together as a team pretty well.
Have you already sorted out how you're going to deal with Bamba and Zalewski?
Not yet.
I mean, you were up till 12 dealing with Kashiwa Race. So you got another late night ahead.
Maybe 1 o'clock tonight. We don't know. We'll see. So no, we've let today settle. We've let the lads just clear their heads, have a recovery session today. We've took a small group out to do a training session. The ones who didn't play so much yesterday, and keep their legs moving. But we'll prepare tonight properly and look at the squad and pick our team and have a look and see what Roma do and how we can try and get the better of them. Yeah.
If you don't mind, we'll continue this chat. If you can just sit there for a bit, I'll just give you a little bit of a breather. We'll show you the top 5 goals so far, as chosen by Nick and Chris, and you'll be happy to know that your players feature heavily in the top 5 goals. So, here are the top 5 goals so far, as chosen by Nick and Chris. And there he is, Zalewski. He was number 3 or 4 before with a different goal from an earlier game, but that one was from the game in the semi-final against Aspire Academy. Wow, some finish that. Chris Macon said it looked like he lined up as if he was going to go for the far post and pulled it near. Beautifully done. And then your very own Nathan Young-Coombs. And it was what they liked about this was the true determination.
Yeah.
You know, when he picked that ball up, did you think, I know what he's going to do here?
The thing is, you know that the cashier lads are chasing back because that's the way he works. So he wasn't going to have a lot of time to slow down and change his mind. So yeah, he's taken that very well, given the pressure was under for sure.
Yeah, brilliant finish. I'm sure we'll see a lot more from him. He's had quite an interesting life already, hasn't he?
We've only known him for a short time as well.
Chelsea, I know he just got there.
We probably know as much about Nathan Coombs as what Fab does.
I know, and this, goodness me, like Chris Macon keeps saying this, but he only had one thing he could have done there, and he did it.
Sorry, 2, he could have crossed it, but he could have dropped.
It's not the first time that he scored goals like this in the season. Yeah, the league has already scored a couple of goals like exactly from the same position.
Well, you'll be delighted to know that, David.
Fantastic.
Got me a few more of those lined up for tomorrow.
You can see there's no doubt in his intention.
That was it.
Not so good. It's a great finish.
It's the number 2 goal.
Yeah.
You know, obviously they lost 5-1, but he scored a good one in the first match against PSG as well. But that one was,
I heard someone say that they thought the goalkeeper Padanowski should have done better. I'm not so sure. The ball's moved a little bit. Is it travelling through a bit harsh?
And then, of course, number 1 is going to take something to knock this one off the perch.
Great technique.
It's great.
Great technique.
Great ball.
So you've got 3 of last night's game, 3 goals from last night's game, managed to get top 5.
Not bad, eh?
Yeah, decent.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it was changed in the early hours of the morning. You know, you stay up till 12 and 1 o'clock. That's what Chris and Nick do.
I don't doubt how
they stay up till early hours of the morning like this. Oh, I'm not sure where we're going to go with this. We're going to take a short break, but we're going to come back for a bit more chats with David and Fabrizio as they keep eyeing up this beautiful trophy. As much as it's about youth development, both these want their hands on this. Oh, apparently we can't take a commercial break. I timed that beautifully, by the way. And it's gone. The moment's gone. Has the moment gone? Look at that for a moment. Oh, look at that. That's the torch with the sun behind it overlooking Aspire Zone. What a beautiful shot. We're back for more chats with Fabrizio and David in just a couple of minutes. Oh, we don't? No. I'm having a private conversation here. They're telling me to go here, telling me to go there. It's like you coaching. It's like you telling your player, what are you doing there? And they go and do something else.
Still don't listen.
It works the same way. Now, you made me laugh last night, Fabrizio, because there was a moment, the VAR's been here. I think the FIFA referees have been great. They've really elevated the tournament for us, I think. And, it's the first time they're using VAR. So we've still got some teething problems, I think, with VAR. Sometimes the speed of the decision. And yesterday there was a penalty. There they are, our team, the VAR team down there. And there was a moment, in yesterday's game with a penalty. Now, I thought, well, Nick and Chris, they played the game. They said it's a penalty. And you said, I could see you on the touchline doing this. You're giving it this. Oh, I want to do it. I was saying it in here. And in your post-match interview, you were asked about the penalty, and you went, from where I was, I couldn't see anything. I have to accept the decision of the referee. And Chris went, that's because he won the game.
Yes, you're right.
But it's funny, again, that's going back to the winning thing. You accept decisions, of course, when you win, and when you... But how has that experience been for you? I don't want to make a big thing about it that they're women referees, but this is only the second tournament ever that the women have officiated. In the end, they're referees. It doesn't matter whether you're a man or woman. But they supported a tournament in India last October. This is, a breakthrough in a way. How is it, from your point of view? I'll start with you then, David. How has it worked for you and the players?
Very well, to be honest with you. I don't see... There's been nothing in the games that you would debate. I think, the fact that VAR can take over It does take a little bit to understand where VAR can actually step in and when it can't. And once I got that into my head in terms of where that would be, it's much easier to kind of deal with. I think in terms of the referee, I think the referees have been fantastic. I don't think there's been anything there that there's been any real dubious decisions that's caused any problems. I think the easiest thing in the world to do is challenge decisions, and we all get caught up in the moment. You want to get the decision to go your way, but sometimes I think you have to accept if a mistake's made. It's just a genuine mistake, and you just have to accept that. But I think the tournaments went well as far as officiating, and the VAR I think has been very good. And a great experience for the boys as well.
Yeah, is this the first time your players have dealt with a VAR system? And
Yeah. Yes,
it's all part of the journey towards the professional game now, isn't it?
Exactly. I think it's a good experience for them because they can have a taste of what they can expect when they will be hopefully at the top level. And coming back to the women referees, I think they also, in my opinion, they are giving a sort of kindness in a way. So I don't see the players very aggressive like when there is, maybe because this female presence that can in a way calm them down a bit, you know. I agree with Dave. The refereeing has been, in my opinion, top class. I don't remember any controversial situations, and also the VAR is helping because I think VAR is a great improvement for the game. Generally speaking, of course, also here. So, only good things about it.
What do you think? Just a quick word on the offside. If there's one thing, the one gripe that we're always having is offside. You know, sometimes these decisions and they're so marginal.
I think it's.
Do you think it should? Do you think that you should give the benefit of the doubt to the attacking team?
I think they generally have over the years, but now that VAR has now come in.
Oh, no, I know. And you're seeing some great goals going by the wayside.
Yeah, there's no wriggle room. I think that if there's any part of your body you can score with, I think if that's offside, it's offside. I think there's only one maybe debate that's taken place possibly in the pitch 4 where there was a goal went in that was very, very marginal.
Yes.
But if it's offside, it's offside. We just have to accept that. So, as long as it goes in your favour.
It's lovely. When you've got two guys who are in the final, you accept everything, don't you? If you were down there playing for 12th place, you're like, oh, I hated this got on.
Yeah, no. But winning doesn't matter.
How the boys, in general, what's their response been to this whole experience? You know, you play a lot of tournaments, you play a lot of tournaments. How have they found this tournament here in Aspire?
I think not only my players. I think this can be for all the players of this, for all the from all the teams. This is a special environment. This is what I think is closer to the professional level. You know, it's a sort of Champions League for our players. The facilities, the pitches, everything is high. You know, top class. So the players are enjoying to find themselves in such an environment, and I think they feel like they are top players in a way, you know. And I hope that also in the next seasons our team will be invited, because it's an experience that all the players should try.
If there was one point of discussion on the way young players are treated these days, and you know, it's universal. Most of them are on contracts, they're earning money, it's their life now. It's different to the way it was. Do you think if there's one thing missing, is there a hardness, a toughness to the game, which maybe is not instilled at youth level today? The reason I bring it up is timely. It's a sad day today. Eric Harrison, who passed away, who was the Manchester United scout and trainer. You know about him, and you know, I was talking to Nick and Chris about the situation as well. They both met him, and as boys they were trained by him. There's a picture of him there. He passed away last night at the age of 81. And they said when they used to go down to the cliff in Manchester for those sessions as young boys, it was horrendous. You know, there was a hardness and toughness about it that, you know, you found out pretty soon that, you know, maybe I can't cope with this life. You know, this is, for example, a message from David Beckham. I love this. And in his message, he said he was always watching and always with us. Every time we played, I can still hear him telling me, "No more Hollywood passes." And you can sort of imagine that, and then in a minute we'll see the tweet from Gary Neville. Gary Neville's tweet said something: "We've lost, we owe you everything." You know, they've lost their mentor and everything. But this was a different era. But when you get to those situations, when you get to the top games at World Cups, at Champions League, when you're fighting for the league, there is a toughness required. Is that right? Maybe I'm wrong here.
I think it's not just football. I think society and culture has changed. I don't think that we as coaches certainly don't work that way. I don't think we can now. I don't think we want to. But I think you know, we've looked at a couple of projects to try and instill bits in the players to try and toughen up in certain areas. We've looked at trying to put them in maybe work experience scenarios, so that they recognise out with the game there's other lives and other work that you know, if you don't apply yourself properly at the right level as a footballer, then there might be a different life ahead for you. So we're trying to do certain kind of projects in a way. I remember once we took them to an army barracks in Edinburgh, and you know, we get the sergeants, majors, etc. They were looking after the players, and they spoke to them in a way that they hadn't really been subjected to before. I think that in itself was a good experience. Well, I'm saying good experience, maybe not so much for them, but it was at the time. You can look back on it and recognise that, you know what, there's certain bits that maybe they could deal with a little bit better.
You know, I think this is good.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, what do you think about, I know society has changed, but you know, when you're strolling into your match at 16 with your Gucci bag and, you know, your headphones on, it's like, okay, you know, that's the image portrayed by the top players or whatever, but, you know, to be the best, you know, nice guys finish last. You've got to have a toughness about you.
I agree with Dave, and probably the only environment where you can still, in society, you can still find this kind of approach to teaching or whatever is the army. We don't bring the players to this kind of experience, but I think it could be beneficial. What we can do as coaches, I think, is try to make them aware of the type of world that will surround them when they will be even higher in football. So try to make them aware that they could easily blown away from the real focus. I don't think we can come back again to that times where Arizona or other big coaches had this kind of approach, because probably we would be
in jail.
No, in jail, but I think communication is important. And probably we have to be good to lead the players in the right direction without being so harsh like in the old times. But still, I agree that there is something probably missing from that point of view. I don't know which is the solution, but I don't think, unfortunately or fortunately, that we can come back to that kind of approach, coaching approach.
I mean, Nick somebody gets upset when he sees centre halves with straight noses and things like that. He said nobody wants to head the ball these days. There's a very different approach, but the game has changed. We keep telling him. You know, I know he's only about 45 years old. He talks like an 80-year-old sometimes. Listen, how many? This is stark reality of academy football, and I feel bad asking. I really want the answer. Not many people go on and make it. It's a tough environment, right? You know, out of the players you've got, how many are going to make it to the very top?
It is tough. It is really tough. I remember back in the day when I was going through my sort of apprenticeships in football, and I remember my coach at the time saying that, look around the dressing room, possibly only 2 of you are going to have any chance of any sort of career, and he wasn't far off the mark. Right. So I'm not saying that is the case. You look around your dressing room and there's different bits that bring a player together. You look at the technical and how they deal with the ball, how they understand the game. Then you look at their physical attributes and their mental attributes, and there's different bits that will push them further on than their mates. So it's very difficult right now at 17-year-old to be able to say, it's going to be you, it's going to be you, it's going to be you. It's really difficult.
Is the return for your investment better these days? You know, can you actually say there are more? Because I had this discussion with Chris and Nick the other day. Years ago, people were very influenced by external factors because you know there wasn't a sort of set academy. You know, you went out and you mixed with other people. Whereas now, an academy environment is quite cocooned. Am I right? And you know,
absolutely. You know what our players are provided with now is massive compared to what they've, you know, going back to the days that we're talking about. The facilities they've got, the amount of support they've got from different staff members. There's so many bits that they get now that you never had before. So at the very worst, if they're not going to make it at Rangers, from our point of view, you're looking to at least produce players that go and have a career elsewhere. And that itself is certainly, that's a positive note that you've given them that structure and that kind of base to go and push on and have a professional football career.
I guess that must be a downside of the job, Fabrizio. You know, that you want to see all your players make it to the top.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the goal, isn't it? I mean, the reality is different, but that's your goal. So that must be the hard part of the job, seeing the ones that, you know, don't quite make it.
Of course, this is when you start to coach a group of players, then you start to create a relationship with them, which is also something that, you know, there is a bonding, and then of course you wish the best for them, but you know that then next year, next season, 2 seasons, they will have another coach, so you have to consider yourself just a part of the process and try to do your best to let's say take them, guide them to their own way. You can't do a lot about that because then many stumbling blocks can be in their way, not only football but maybe outside of football. It's so tough, as you said, to reach the top. So this is downside, yes, of course, because in 5 years you would like to see these players playing big clubs, but this is the reality. No, not all of them will make it.
The reality is, though, that many players who play in this tournament, maybe it's a good luck charm, I don't know, go on to play the very highest level, and we like that.
The Alkass International Cup. Marcos Llorente. Real Madrid joined the second edition of the Alkass International Cup, and Marcos Llorente was part of the team. Being part of a Real Madrid player's family, he soon knew his ambition was to play in the biggest team of Spain's capital. At the age of 7, Llorente started in Club Deportivo Las Rozas, and after 7 years, he joined the youth team of Real Madrid. His dream was finally realised in 2015 when he made his debut in the professional team in La Liga against Levante. In 2016, Llorente was on loan with Deportivo Alavés. After that, he got 20 offers before returning to the Galacticos. With Real Madrid, the Madrista won 1 Spanish Super Cup, 1 Champions League, 2 UEFA Super Cups, and 2 FIFA Club World Cups, achieving at the age of 22 the market value of 15 million euros. With a good start to the season, appearing in 11 games and scoring 1 goal in the final of the 2018 FIFA Club World Cup, Marcos Llorente is out for several weeks due to a thigh injury. Until he's fully recovered, Santiago Solari's option is to pick Casemiro, who has returned from injury.
And there we are, Marcos Llorente, and who will we be featuring in next year's Cup or the year after when we look back at the AS Roma group from the 8th edition or the Rangers group from the 8th edition? I'm confident that we will see some. Now look, you've been sitting there, you're facing each other tomorrow as coaches, you've agreed on everything. You know, the fighting that Nick wanted has not happened. So, where's the best place to live, Glasgow or Rome? There's only one winner there. Is there? I don't know.
Is that a question? Is that a serious question?
Let me ask, would you swap Rome for Glasgow?
No way. Not the weather, especially the weather.
David, would you swap Rome for Glasgow?
Is it still a question? No. The only bit that's missing from Glasgow is the weather. I think beyond that, I'm working at a great club just now, and one that I really enjoy. So for that reason, I'm in no rush to think about any different change.
God, you should have been politicians, I tell you. Forget being coaches. It's absolutely wonderful. Right, we've got a game coming up. Look at that, beautiful. Look how lovely Aspire Zone is there with the Torch Hotel overlooking Aspire Zone, 2.5 square kilometres, which includes 2 five-star hotels, the most advanced training areas and equipment and facilities for athletes, an orthopedic hospital which brings in the greatest athletes in the world for their recovery and repairs on their injuries. So we're all set. So let me just finish by wishing both Fabrizio and David all the best for tomorrow. You don't touch the cup, do you? That's like bad luck and things like that, so you don't do that. Give us just a word on the game that's coming up. We've got Real Madrid versus Spartak Moscow. This is for 5th and 6th place. Who do you fancy in that?
Oh, probably Spartak Moscow. Again, you talk about the winger. He's
Mccallum,
yeah. No, he's a game-changing player. Albeit that said, you look at Real Madrid, particularly in the game yesterday. Was it yesterday? 2 days ago, sorry.
Yeah.
The game that they had, and they kind of came to life and showed some good attacking play as well. So I'll go with Spartak.
You know Spartak.
Go for a draw.
A draw?
A draw.
And into penalties?
Yes. Yes, because I think if they would play for something more, I would say Spartak as well. But just because it's a game with no big target, they will be, let's say, equal. So even. And
yeah. Okay, a draw then penalties. Is that what we're going to get tomorrow?
Who knows? I think tomorrow. I think what you'll get is a good game of football with both teams. I would think trying to win the game. Yeah.
Brilliant. Enjoy, gentlemen. It's been a pleasure having you here, not just for today, but for the whole tournament. And thank you so much for giving your time as well and sharing with us all your stories from the academy. Roma and Rangers are very well represented. Right, you chill out, enjoy the game. I'll hand you to the commentary team of Chris Makin and Mark Tompkins.